everyone, it's Kimber Schaefer here with Rage in the Cage OKC News. We are hanging out at the weight room. I'm here with this big guy, Tommie Britton. And hey, it's almost Rage time. Rage in the Cage 55 coming up December 8th. And you look excited. That's all I have to say. Look at that smile. You're ready to get in the cage, aren't you?
Oh, yes, ma'am. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
You were supposed to fight for us back in October, and it was like the day of that your opponent backed out. But you took it all in stride. You still had a smile on your face. I think you even came to the fight that night, and you got in there, and you let the fans know. And I really have a lot of, respect for you as a person and as a fighter. I know that's hard. How was that, just really training and cutting weight, and then to have that happen last minute?
It was a hard incident for me, but in this game, you have to be understandable. So I wasn't mad at the guy. It was just more of me understanding the situation. So it was perfectly fine with me.
Sounds good. And you're coming off, you're 1-1 as a pro. Your last fight as a pro was a win. Your first fight as a pro obviously was a loss. So, do you feel like going into your pro career, your first fight being a loss has just really propelled you to work harder and, fill those holes in your game that you might have had?
Oh, yes, ma'am. Yes, indeed. Because my first fight really wasn't for me. I was the last minute. The original opponent that got hurt. I had got put on the second largest stage in MMA. I actually got an opportunity to debut for Bellator. So it was a great experience. But the loss, yes, indeed, most definitely, it just added more fuel to the fire. Just a deep drive to just keep going and be the very best that I can be.
Well, and it looks like just looking at I just momentarily got to look through your amateur career. You were 14 fights in your amateur career, so you really made sure that you fought the best of the best before you went on to pro. And do you feel like that's really the way to go for amateur fighters? These days, it seems like so many try to rush through that amateur career. Are you happy that you did that?
Oh, yes, indeed, because this is a tough sport. You need experience. Before you take it to the next level, you have to be tested as an amateur. So I always recommend guys at least 8 to 10 fights before you turn pro.
I love that. And who are you fighting on this card?
A guy by the name, if I'm not mistaken, his name is Eric Bailey.
And do you know much about him as a fighter?
No, ma'am, but I expect this guy to come in and be a game opponent. So that's what I'm expecting. I'm expecting him to be a game opponent.
And do you guys really look at your opponents and try to make a game plan according to who you're fighting, or you just go in there and try to fight your own fight?
Well, as far as with me, it's improv. I just go in there and relax. But if I'm able to watch film on my opponent, I always take notes and I just go from there.
Sounds good. You've obviously been in this game. I think your first debut fight was in 2010, so we're going on about 7 years. So you've had time to really develop what kind of fighter you are. What do you consider yourself?
I consider myself a striker, as my coach always says, as Miss Shelley always says, just relax and just stay on your toes. So I consider myself a striker who goes in the cage, and just relax.
And that's part of it. I think that's probably added to your success, is really being able to get that mental game down. And I feel like you've definitely excelled in that area. Do you think that's really led to a lot of the success you've had so far?
Oh, yes, ma'am, most definitely. Because when you're in tough situations, you have to be able to think. Especially if you're fighting and you're not able to think, oh my gosh, it's a bad situation.
Any other tips or last words for other fighters that might be looking to make a name for themselves in MMA?
Stay at it, through any type of obstacles you have or whatever it may be, just stay at it. Just never give up and just stick with it.
What about any shout-outs?
Oh, I would love to give a shout-out to my coach, Mr. Kendrick Coleman, my coach, Dale Arbuckle, Miss Shelley, all of my teammates, my mother. What I can say here, I am so excited to be fighting on the court with my teammates. It just warms my heart, so I'm just really excited for this fight here.
I'm excited for this fight as well. And I tell you, you warm my heart. It's like I'm being preached to right here. It's like, amen. You are so positive. I love this. You guys come out, enjoy Rage in the Cage 55. It's going down December 8th at the Oklahoma City Farmers Public Market. Tommie Britton has tickets right here. You can get them at AMA in South Oklahoma City or any other fighter on the card, or, of course, online at stubwire.com. And we'll see you then.